Hey guys, welcome back. This is Innovate with Google Sheets Part 1. And today we're going to talk about how to create a self-checking tool using Google Sheets with pixel art. Let's get started. So first, why pixel art? It has student benefits and teacher benefits. Students get immediate feedback. They don't need to wait to see if their answer is correct or incorrect. It encourages revision. When those magic cells don't appear, it encourages them to go back and try again. And it increases their engagement. As students continue to get the answers correct and more pieces are revealed, their engagement gets higher. The teacher benefit, there's less waiting. Students don't need to wait for you to check their answer. You can go help other students. You can quickly progress monitor, and it's reusable and customizable. Once you have the formulas in place, you can easily trade out the questions and answers. So how do you build one of these? There are 6 steps, and we're going to walk through them together. The first is to create your question table. The second, add a word bank and directions. The third, you're going to resize your grid into pixels. The fourth is the most time-consuming one, but you're actually going to draw your pixel art. The fifth, link each pixel to a correct answer. And the 6th is apply some conditional formatting to give them some red, green cue feedback on whether their answers are correct or incorrect. Let's go ahead and take a look at a completed pixel art activity first. So this is a pixel art activity that I did for the Founding of Florida review. So I had several questions here. This is where my questions are and my answers. So this is why I would create 2 columns, one for questions, one for answers. After my columns, I then go ahead and added my directions. I made them very clear because the clearer your directions, the less distractions are going to happen where students say, it's not working. If your directions are clear, for example, I tell my students in my directions, let me delete all of these, that the cells will stay red unless a correct answer is given. And when a correct answer is given, they will turn green and part of the missing picture will be revealed. So for example, I can go here and do what were the churches called, and they were missions. And you could see it is green and part of the hidden picture is revealed. If I had typed in missions up here, it stays red and nothing happens. So the directions let my students know what those colors mean. I also have a word bank because I chose to have my students type this in. You don't have to do that. You could choose to use a drop-down menu. The way that would work is you could do 1 cell at a time. That's if you want to give scaffolded options, like maybe only 3 possible answers at a time. Or if you want students to pick any of the words in the word bank, you would select all of the cells. You would click insert and you would click drop down. And then you would be able to add in all of the possible answers. For example, it could be missions, it could be Ponce de Leon, and I would continue to add my words in my word bank, and then students would be able to select that way. Then I'm sure you can notice, but my sizes are not the same. On this side, I've got a lot bigger pixels than this side. That's because I've resized my pixels to be, which I'll show you how to do in just a minute, but this makes it so I can actually create art that looks like pixel art. Then I went ahead and added my pixel art. So you could see that I went with a nice big yes. You could be as creative as you want with this or as simple as you want with this. The choice is yours. It doesn't matter what the picture looks like. What matters is the excitement the students get as they reveal pieces of the picture. What I did next was each pixel is linked to a correct answer. So when you saw earlier, when I typed in missions, several pixels appeared. That means that what I did was I selected multiple pixels at a time, and using conditional formatting, I connected them. So you could see when I click one of these and I click conditional formatting, you could see all of them have a special formula that connects them to the questions and the answers. And I'll show you how to do that again in just a minute. Then I applied conditional formatting over here. This isn't required, but I like to give my students that extra accomplishment of, yes, this is green, I got it right, let's go. So that way, when they see that green light, they know they can move on to the next question. So now, as promised, let's create one together. So the first thing we do is we create our question table. It's going to be A and B. So I'm just going to type in question and answer. So we have our columns. Now I'm going to say that I'm going to have 5 questions just to make this nice and easy. Since I have my section blocked off, I'm going to grab these and I'm going to come over here to this borders and I'm going to select this frame border. And I like to make it a nice, dark, deep frame so my students know this is where you are going to look. I also know that my questions are going to probably be longer than that, so I'm going to extend my A column out quite a bit to give me more space to type my questions, maybe a little bit more. I like to maybe go to that C. So I've got my questions and I've got my answers. The next thing I need to do is add directions, and personally, I like to add a word bank when students are typing in. Again, remember if they're doing that drop down, you won't need a word bank. So I'm going to come up here to number 1, right click and click insert one row above. I personally like my directions to take up both A and B. So I'm going to drag so I have A and B here, go to format and go to where it says merge cells, merge all. So now I've got this nice little area here for me to type in all my directions. Then I like to have a word bank as well. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this much space. And I'm going to come over here to format again, merge cells, merge all, and now I have my word bank. If you want this to stand out for your students, you could also choose to come to the framing section. You could choose to frame it. You could have a different color. Maybe your directions are in purple. You could tell them to look for the purple directions. And maybe your word bank, let's go with blue. So they've got different areas they can look. So we've got our questions, our directions, and our word bank. Now we're going to go ahead and resize our pixels. So I'm going to click C, and just like we learned in our shortcut for Module 2, I'm going to push Control, Shift, and my right arrow key. Now all of that has been selected. I'm going to right click, and I want to resize these columns to be 21. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab all the rows I'm going to use, which down here, I'm going to use all these rows. And I'm going to resize the rows to be 18. So now I've got 18 by 21. And you can see this wasn't affected. It's still how I want it to be. Okay, so now you're going to create your pixel art. For the sake of this tutorial, so it goes nice and quick, I'm just going to make an addition sign since this is addition. And now I'm going to have some subtraction problems in there. Pretend I'm going to put a minus sign and just do an equal sign as well, just so I can kind of have a little bit more in my picture there. Now I'm going to connect the cells to a correct answer. So how I'm going to do that is first I'm going to select some cells. Make sure you only select cells that are the same color. The reason being is when we choose our formula, we're going to tell it to turn cells a certain color. So if I say turn it blue, then part of this minus sign might turn blue if I selected it as well. So for this case, the top 2, the bottom 2. I'm going to push format and conditional formatting. Now I've selected these 4 cells. And if I wanted to, I can double check to make sure those are the cells that I want. Then I need to first figure out what my answer is going to be. So let's pretend that this question is 5 plus 5. So now I have my question. I've got my cells selected, and I'm going to type in a very specific formula. The formula looks confusing, but it's not. So first, put your equal sign. If you forget your equal sign, this code will not work, the formula will not work, and you're going to get so frustrated about this not working. So don't forget that equal sign. Then you're going to select the column that the answer you're looking for is in. So in this case, I'm looking for column B. And the way the computer knows that is you push the $sign and B. So you're telling the computer, look in column B. But it's not just all of B that it's looking at. I wanted to look at a specific question. So I'm looking for B, and I'm looking for the row to be 5 plus 5 is in row 3. So I want it to look in B, and again, I'm going to push that $sign, look in 3. And I want it to equal 10. And if it equals 10, I want it to turn the color blue. So now I've coded this, and you'll see in just a second it'll light up gray if the code was correct. You could see it selected them to show me this is where it was. So that's a good sign. It means it accepted my formula. And now I want to try it out. But I'm not going to be able to see it because the colors are already there. So the way I try it out is I'm going to select the cells. I could select all of them, but this is the only one I formatted for now. So I'm just going to change it. And I'm going to push reset. Now it's white. And I can check and see if it's going to work if I go to my answer and I type in 10 and it appears. So I know that my formula works. And I would go ahead and do the rest, connecting all of these cells. Once all the cells are connected, the students will be able to type in the answers and reveal the hidden picture. I like to take it one step farther though with that green light system. So I go here to B, and I'm going to go to Format and Conditional Formatting. This applies directly to B3, and I'm going to put text contains 10. It's going to turn green. And I'm going to do another rule because my students need that red as well. If the text does not contain 10, it's going to turn red. So now, if I get rid of 10, it's a red cell, and my students know their work is not done until something is typed here. Okay, here's what's great about this activity. Once it's done, I can continue to reuse this. All I have to do is change the format just a little bit. So for example, in this case, if I don't want it to be Ponce de Leon and I want it to be something else, maybe now I'm asking a math question as well. I'm just going to change the word Ponce de Leon here to 10. And I'm going to do the same thing over here where I'm looking for the one that says Ponce de Leon. There it is. And I'm going to change it now so that this is not Ponce de Leon. It's going to be 10. So now, when I type in a 10 here, it will turn green and those hidden colors will reveal. So I can change this out for my different subjects that I teach, and it's going to work as long as you keep the formula, you just edit the things that it's looking for. Okay, folks, that's it. I know this was a longer one, so thanks for sticking with me. Once you get started on this, you're going to realize that with a little bit of practice, it's going to get easier and easier and easier for you. So just a quick recap, create the question, add your word bank and directions, resize your grid, draw your pixel art, link each pixel to a word, remember with that $sign, which means look in, and then apply conditional formatting using that green and red stoplight symbol. Okay, so now it's your turn. You're going to check out those Thompson tips as well as my checklist. And then you could look, because I also posted for you these 6 steps as well to look at. And you are going to create your own pixel art activity. And I'll see you in the next video, part 2, where we look at how to create a data sheet that thinks for you so you can spend more time teaching. You are learning so many new tools and getting so close to being a Google Master. See you next time.